Alright, so I was gonna do this thing where I turn on the lights as I enter, but the lights were already on, so I couldn't do something cool. And my lights turned off. Okay, hey, what's up? Welcome to HASSCAST. I'm turning up the ISO. Oh god. Okay. Let's go. What's up? Welcome to HASSCAST. I'm Mike Cass, and we're gonna be starting doing HASSCAST actually podcast style, where it's actually like an hour long, and we'll be actually talking about some movies, music, and any pop culture news and all that shit. And I swear to God, we're not gonna be talking about the big C word. Nobody wants to hear about the big C word. I'm not talking about cock. I'm not talking about cunt. I'm not gonna say it. It's the thing that's making you stay at home. Nobody wants to hear about that shit, YouTubers. Nobody does. Anyways, yes, Mike Hass, we are here. We'll be talking about some movies, music, and magic. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Coffee and Kareem. But before we get into that, I'd like to introduce to you something that will be happening later in the show. So, basically, what we will have is a big briefcase of nostalgia. Yeah, it's like a big briefcase of old movies, and it's a series, and I'll show you at the end of it. So stay tuned for that freaking showcase of some really old movies that I'm recommending to you. And they're on Disney Plus, so they're free to you if you have that. So let's get right into Coffee and Kareem. I'm gonna spit out my gum again. Jeez, this trash can is full with like tissues and Jesus. Yeah, basically, my room is a mess, and it's an issue, truly. Like, look at this sock, honestly, look at this sock. This sock, I know you're like, why are you showing me a sock right now, but it's got blood on it. It's got blood on it. You wanna know why it has blood on that motherfucking sock? Well, that's actually because I stubbed my toe at the end of the bed, or it was my knee, and my knee just started bleeding, and now I got a scab right here. So then I'm too lazy to get out of my room, because that's where I've been the past weeks, and so I just got my sock and used it as a bandage, same thing. Yeah, so I have a bloody sock, but you can smell that through the screen, you loser. That's why you're watching my podcast, because you're a loser. Anyways, yeah, Coffee and Kareem, it's really over the top. Jesus, like this cop in this movie, it stars the dad from Vacation, Ed Helms, and this kid is angry that his mom is dating a white cop. So this black kid tries to get these gangsters to kill the cop that's dating his mom. And then the gangsters try and kill the cop and the kid, and they get entwined with some gangster shit. And then basically gangsters go after the cop and the son and the soon-to-be son and the soon-to-be stepson. So it's one of those stories where it's like basically stepson trying to connect with the stepfather type of thing. The shadowing is horrible. Jesus. Yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of a buddy cop movie. I mean, it's this 12-year-old who curses a lot, and this is like a Netflix original, so I really messed with it. It was really like, it didn't have any boundaries. Like, there's a reason this is not in theaters. Like, this was really over the top in the dialogue, and a lot of people hate on this movie. I don't care. It was a fun time. A lot of shooting. It was one of those action movies where the villains, they have like an unlimited amount of bullets, and like it's just like bang, like it's just so much, killing and shit. And I'm sweating so much. Why am I wearing a vest and a beanie? It's like, it's mid-April, Mike. Why? Well, I mean, it's my attire. It's the uniform for me. Anyways, the dialogue's a bit over the top, and every character feels cartoonish. And King Batch obviously ran out of the money that came from Vine, so now he's starring in movies. And I had to say his character was really solid, and I really messed with his character. Let me be honest, King Batch. He was like, in terms of Viners, I was more of a I don't know who's my favorite Viner, because it's been so long ago. But like, yeah, he was up there on one of my favorite Viners. But yeah, he's in this movie. He plays a gangster thugger type of guy, and the fact that King Batch escapes with cocaine and money because he has, like, he just come. I don't know. I get a kick out of that. Like, he's the bad guy that escapes at the end of the movie. He's not the main bad guy. He's like one of the henchmen that's really bad at being a henchman. So then, at the end of the movie, when you see him escape with cocaine and drugs, you're like, come on, the stupidest guy in the movie escapes, and nobody notices him escaping because he's so insignificant to the plot. But I don't know, for some reason it was comedic. It was very funny. And this movie, there's a joke that's really stretched out too long towards the end when they're like interrogating a guy, the cop and the son, and when it was really stretched too long. But yeah, they also have a character in this movie, and he's a rapper who lies about all the gangster shit in his songs. 6ix9ine. But he was there, and he, like, there was this weird kind of like arc where he kind of has like a redemption and shit, and the character makes a deal with him for this gangster guy to like give in to the police guy and kind of agree to stop the violence. But there is also a dirty cop aspect where this lady is a dirty cop, and she was like so over the top as a villain, it was comedic. Like, a lot of this, it's too much sometimes, but she was kind of funny as a character. And the scene in the strip club is not realistic. No cop would bring a kid to a strip club. But like, a lot of this just wouldn't really happen, but I feel like it was funny. Like, for some reason, I just got a kick out of it. Like, I'm not. It's a guilty pleasure movie, and like, this truly is a guilty pleasure movie, and I would show someone this movie because it's so bizarre and absurd. It was very absurd. It almost, I had to say I've enjoyed myself, and a lot of people hate this movie, and a lot of people are saying it's the worst movie this year. I'd have to disagree. This actually was memorable, slightly. And Coffee and Kareem, yeah, it was solid, and like, the mom in this movie is like kicking ass and shit, and like against the bad guys that are off after his son, and the news articles that are in this movie, like, it'd be like, because there's dirty cops in this movie, so they blame Coffee for capturing Kareem when really it's not happened. But they'd have a really crazy, like, over the top news article, and it would say like, pedophile cop captures and abducts child, and it would be like, but it would be like, and then they'd have like a kid from Coffee, they'd have a guy who was in Coffee's high school be like, yeah, that guy's totally a pedophile, dude, trust me. Like, it's just so bizarre. Like, it's just, and I kind of messed with this movie. It was really the definition of overdone humor and overdone plot, and it really was a guilty pleasure movie, and I'd show someone this movie just because of how crazy it is. This is definitely a crazy movie, and I enjoyed myself because of that. Like, it was just like, what the frick, honestly. So I'm gonna give it an watchable, but not great. But I had to say I did enjoy myself for the most part, in a way where you're like laughing at the movie, But yeah, so we're gonna get to Toosie Slide. We're gonna get to a track review, bro. So Toosie Slide, it's out, and this song was alright. It's by Drake. He obviously wants to make a song for TikTok, and I don't know if that's good in terms of music industry, because a lot of musicians are just going to want to be making songs for TikTok. A lot of people make, like, a lot of channels have been calling this dangerous, because that means rappers are just going to make songs just for TikTok and just for the beginning 15 seconds to be some shit that they can put on TikTok. But I'd have to say I enjoyed myself for it because I'm a lifelong Drake fan. I'm truly just a Drake motherfucking fan, and I genuinely think he's one of the greatest artists of all time. And he comes out with this single, and the hook was slightly strong. The beat was very chill. It was very relaxing, soothing. The song was not in your face at all. It was really just low key, relaxing song. And the music video that surfaced shows Drake in his house, because that's where people are right now. And the key and most notable lyric is left foot up, right foot slide, something, something. Basically, either way, I'm about to slide. And I can agree. The lyrics are basically have a key focus on sliding to a girl crib. And I really focus with that. I like that as a concept for a song. You know, what guy doesn't think about sliding to a girl's crib? I agree with it. Nice little track. And, yeah. Basically, HASSCAST will be weekly and reviewing all of last week's highlights of music and entertainment and films and albums. So that's why you're like, okay, you're talking about Coffee and Cream. Now you're talking about Toosie Slide. Well, it's because this is great lighting. I'm gonna stay here. It's because it's gonna be like a weekly kind of like array of reviewing and stuff. It's gonna be like a podcast style, and also be doing live discussions, discussions, all that shit. But yes, so yeah, Toosie Slide overall a nice little track, and really made my week, because like, who doesn't want to hear a new Drake song? He's always just good to hear. Always good to hear Drake, you know. Now we're gonna get to somebody, like an album that nobody's heard about. Only Jack Harlow fans like me have heard about this. It's not a Jack Harlow album. Bet y'all are intrigued. 2forw0yNE. Bizarre spelling. I'm actually gonna put an image up. And it's Growing Pains. And it's an album. And Jack Harlow is, you know, his flows are just so unique and interesting. And his most popular songs feature a local Louisville rapper, pop artist. He's kind of both. And his name is 2forw0yNE. And again, his name's very bizarrely spelled. I'll definitely put it up right here. So Jack Harlow's best songs feature this 2forw0yNE guy, and that would be Sylvia and Warsaw. So yeah, 2forw0yNE's really talented, and I feel like this album really flew under the radar. And because I'm on Twitter and I see Jack Harlow retweet that his friend 2forw0yNE is making some music and an album drop, and then a week flies by and I'm like, oh shit, I haven't listened to this 2forw0yNE guy, and I forget, because it came out 2 weeks ago, by the way, this album. And the songs are solid. They're really feel good. They're really half pop, half rap, not too corny. I know when you hear pop you think, oh, it's corny, bro. Like, no. He makes some really chill, relaxing songs, and I feel like 2forw0yNE has something to say. And he usually just makes instrumentals for Jack Harlow. And Jesus, why is my chair creaking so much? And he does vocals. He released an alternative pop and rap album called Growing Pains. And I was astounded thinking, how do not a lot of people know about this guy? And yeah. The uplifting, boasting song Young Legend was one of the best songs I've heard in a while, and it was really like one of those boasting songs where he's talking about how good he's doing in life and how he's a young legend, and I really messed with that. Like, who doesn't want to? I'm a young legend. Like, I like feeling that way. It makes me feel good about myself, and this music made me feel good about myself as a person, as an independent person. And yeah, he really covers all spheres with this album. And the last song, Walking Dead, was pretty nice. Very intense, that song. Very intense. It's because it's about the Walking Dead. I haven't seen the show, but, you know, it's just about zombies. And it's a very intense song. And overall, I think the songs in my playlist will last on my playlist for about 2 months. So this guy's very good. This guy's a very good new musician of 2020. And we haven't really seen that much. 2020 is only 4 months in. And it's good to see some new talent. enter the sphere of the music industry. And 2forw0yNE's Growing Pains was overall really solid. Definitely recommend listening to it. Yeah, now we're going to be going into our boop bop beep bop boop technical difficulties beep bop boop 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 boop. Oh my god, you're so fucking stupid, Mike. Coffee for attention. I really think I could use some Adderall right now. Yeah, I need attention. So if you have Adderall, hit me up. Anyways, just joking. I'm a good Christian boy. No, all religions are fiction. So yeah, I have a candle. Shout out Dr. Squatch. They make very good soap. Manly soap. I'm a man, if you cannot tell. I have seltzer for bubbles. Oh yeah, I forgot. Technical difficulties forced me to pause this HASSCAST for about 3 hours while I played some PS4. The battery had to recharge, so I was talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, and I brought out my nostalgia case. So it's not a case. Here we go. The case supposed to. Oh, look at this! It's a case, and I wonder what's in it. The Pirates of the Caribbean movies are in it. Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean 1 is in it, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is in it. The later ones aren't as good as the beginning ones, but I still think they're all really solid because pirate movies have always been one of my favorite genres. Hook being another great pirate movie. You know, who doesn't like to see Robin Williams slowly figure out he's Peter Pan and fight pirates? But I thought I heard a noise and it was just my candle. Yeah, so Pirates of the Caribbean, right? Johnny Depp, he is a very mischievous pirate. And we're going to be doing a section of the HASSCAST called Nostalgia Case. It's going to be a case of nostalgia. In this case, my case was filled with Pirates of the Caribbean, the entire franchise. So, with Pirates of the Caribbean, we followed the journeys of Johnny Depp's character, Captain Jack Sparrow, as he sails through the Caribbean on pirate adventures. You see him fight cursed pirates who turn into skeletons, who have gold that forces them to look ugly and live forever, but they really don't want to live forever because they can't feel that way. So you see him fight evil, cursed pirates in the first one. Then to the second and third one, you see him fight Davy Jones, who he has a debt to. He has a debt to Davy Jones that he'd have to serve on his ship, and this Davy Jones guy has a monster, the Kraken, and this Davy Jones guy takes a bunch of pirates to the depths of the sea and kills a lot of people, and he's this evil guy with a lot of monsters with him, and he's a great villain played by Bill Nye, not Bill Nye the Science Guy, the British Bill Nye, who played the captain in Hot Fuzz. By the way, Hot Fuzz is one of the best cop movies of all time, next to Point Break. And shout out to Hot Fuzz for having all the Point Break references. And yeah, Bill Nye plays an excellent villain in Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3. And in the fourth and fifth one, I'd say they're subpar compared to the original trilogy of Pirates of the Caribbean. I feel like the original trilogy is one of cinema's best creations. I will be straight up with them. I feel like the third one, people just don't like the second and third one compared to the first one. I think the second and third one are better compared to the first one, but I love the first one. I just love all of these Pirates movies. And the fourth one, by the way, shout out to the fourth one. I feel like it was pretty solid. Blackbeard served as a great, solid villain in this trilogy. This is not, I just mean that in that movie. It's not a trilogy. It's one movie, Mike. Yeah. Also, like, who doesn't... Okay, look. Mermaids are seen as this lovey-dovey thing. You got some mermaids. You love the mermaids. Everybody's jerked off to Ariel from fucking Little Mermaid as a kid. You have. If you're a guy watching this, you have jerked off to Ariel. I'm not saying I have. Wink, wink. Okay, so basically, mermaids in this movie, they become vampires and kill the pirates who are trying to find the Fountain of Youth to live forever. Who doesn't want to see that in a movie? Pirates get almost eaten by mermaids trying to find the Fountain of Youth that'll make you live longer. Who doesn't want to live forever and see that in a movie? Like, the entire point is to find something to live forever. At the end, he figures out that he doesn't want to live forever. I mean, like, Jack Sparrow is such an interesting character, and the fourth one is so hated on for some reason. And yeah, I really messed with the fourth one. The fifth one, I don't know. I do respect its continuity and how it connects to the earlier films, with the son of Will Turner being in episode in the fifth one, trying to take the curse away from his father, and also the plot with Barbossa's daughter is okay. I just feel like the villain was very interesting and how it tied to Captain Jack Sparrow's past, but I feel like it was a bit like, get the fuck out of here. Like, there's the weird wedding scene with that ugly girl with, like, the fucking... She had all the bumps on her faces, and I just, like, I don't want to see that. It's not funny just to have someone disfigured in a movie. It just doesn't... It's not comedy, but I feel like the plot was very strong. Like, they make zombie sharks. The bad guys have zombie sharks in the movie just because they don't like Captain Jack Sparrow for getting them trapped in this one place, and they want revenge. And the opening scene with the fucking heist, and the crew take a fucking giant building with them and shit, like with horses. It's very complicated. Like, these movies are the definition of getting yourself into weird situations because you want that moolah, you want that money, or you want to bring your friend back. Like, for instance, in the second one, like, the writers of these movies, they pick any scene, right, and they make it unique. With a sword fight, you don't just have a sword fight and one, like, they just stay in one place. No, you have them run to this location, and they get on top of a watermill, and the watermill spins around in the forest for like 15 fucking hours. Like, but realistically, like, it moves. It's not realistic. It's a fucking action movie. But the watermill moves all the way there, and they all get dizzy and start throwing up, and it's hilarious. Like, they make everything unique and shit. Like, that's what I like about the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. They always figure out how to make this shit unique. It and when they're swinging along the cliff to get away from the cannibals in the forest that are trying to kill the pirate crew, because who doesn't like this pirate crew? They're all a bunch of misfits. They're all a bunch of losers who just want to, like, commit some robberies and shit and have some fun while the earth is not discovered, because this all takes place in an era where the earth is slowly being finally discovered, because it's all about the colonial times and how these people are enjoying themselves. It's like the wild, wild west, basically, but it's all in the Caribbean. They're just all having fun and exploring shit and getting into situations with evil monsters and shit and discovering treasure. And it's all about these misfits' journeys in this world that has not been discovered, and how the reality of the British Empire slowly discovering the world and capturing things and getting pirates locked away, and how this world kind of, like, goes away of freedom, and how, like, after the British Empire took over everything, nothing was free. And this journey's like the last time people had freedom discovering the world. And that's why I truly love the dialogue in episode 3 at World's End is so, like, thematic and so, like, philosophical on how the world was slowly coming smaller in a metaphorical sense, because of how, like the philosophy in these movies is just insanely well written. And and talk about, like, really good long movies. At World's End is one of the best of them, but it really makes, like, sometimes the plot just becomes like crazy, and they're in a whirlpool, like a maelstrom, basically tornado, but it's underwater and the water starts spinning and shit. That happens, except it's like there's two ships across them battling each other. And I remember getting like the mega blocks, because Lego really didn't make fucking Pirates of the Caribbean sets until like 2011. So in 2007 I got the mega blocks fucking Pirates of the Caribbeans, and I'd have them on a ship fighting each other. Like, it's so much fun watching these movies and all the sword fights and shit, but it all makes sense because there's these evil guys that really just want to get your favorite character and trap him forever. Like, it's just like, it's who doesn't fucking like these movies? And this is another case of Rotten Tomatoes fucking up, and a majority of critics fucking up, because a lot of people don't like these movies, and I'm one of those guys who's like, hey, this shit's fun. Movies are all about fun. They're not all about being correct and being the perfect movie. It's just all a fun experience, and it's just something for you and your friends to just like, hey. But there is some movies that can be intelligent and fun at the same time, and that's what the Pirates of the Caribbean series progresses at. And if I were to rank them right now, let's get into it. Dead Man's Chest, number 1. Number 2, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Number 3, At World's End. Number 4, On Stranger Tides. Number 5, I forget the title of the last movie because it's not that good. Dead Men Tell No Tales. Which I actually really like that they use that title, because that was the name of a song sung in the first movies. Dead Men Tell No Tales. Like, you hear like a fucking pirate saying, Dead Men Tell No Tale. Like, it's so like interesting how they connect that shit. And honestly, Pirates of the Caribbean is one of my favorite franchises, and it's one of the most unique franchises, and it's hated on for no reason, and I really fucks with it. I truly fucks with this series. And I'm sweating because of how much coffee I've drank. And like, seriously, this is an issue. Like, I'm moving my hands around like I'm Sean Chandler. Like, it's just I almost just kicked over my candle. I'm moving too much. I'm talking. Nah, I feel like I'm doing good. But yeah, let's have more coffee, because I'm gonna have to edit this podcast because I didn't have enough battery to have this thing last long, which actually made for some good jokes. But yeah, hope you guys like the new style of HASSCAST. I really just wanted to make it more like long and openly creative, and just ramble on in a comedic fashion about what I love, and that's movies, music, and wanking off. Thanks for watching the HASSCAST, and I'll be casting out my oh yeah, since I'm not using my old footage because it crashed, I'd like to shout out my boy Draven Wiley. If you're a long fan of the HASSCAST, you have noticed him as that dumb motherfucker in the middle of the couch that was on my earlier HASSCAST. And Draven Wiley, Wiley? Shit, I forget my friend's last name, whatever. Yeah, he's doing a YouTube channel called Forced Nostalgia. And I'll focus with that name, though, because, why are all movies nostalgia? Thinking about what you loved as a younger boy. And it's just, yeah, Forced Nostalgia. I'm going to show the channel art. It's slowly in development. This channel's in development. Just like fucking The New Mutants has been for 5 years. This channel is in development. So, yeah, check out my boy Draven Wiley's new channel. I'm going to put a link down below to his Instagram, just so you can follow up. Because I know that when he puts out this channel, he's going to put that shit on his Instagram. So yeah, follow him on Instagram and you'll see my boy Draven Wiley's new channel, Forced Nostalgia. I'm very excited to see what my boy Draven can do with his channel. I'm confident, and I'm probably going to help him out because I've been doing YouTube for a while. I've had like 5 different channels since I was 7, and a majority of you aren't going to see those channels because they're all shit, except for Lord of the Meme 67. That's one of the best channels ever created, by the way. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a Patreon Lord of the Meme 67 videos, so by the way, I'll be casting out my thoughts to you on the next HASSCAST. Somebody beat that me to the door?